The world watches with bated breath as the tragedy of the Ukraine conflict continues to unfold. This isn't just a regional conflict, it's a stark reminder of the fragility of peace in our interconnected world. The roots of this conflict run deep, entangled in a complex web of history, geopolitics and national identity. At the heart of this crisis lies Ukraine, a nation grappling with its own internal divisions while caught in the crosshairs of a geopolitical tug-of-war between Russia and the West. The annexation of Crimea in 2014 marked a turning point, igniting a simmering conflict in the eastern Donbas region. What we are witnessing today is the tragic escalation of that conflict, a full-scale invasion that has shattered the peace and brought untold suffering to the Ukrainian people. The world is now faced with a sobering question. How can this conflict be brought to a swift and just end? As the conflict in Ukraine escalated, so did the rhetoric, with both sides digging in their heels. Opportunities for de-escalation, however fleeting, presented themselves in the labyrinthine corridors of international diplomacy. Could this war have been averted? Some argue that the West, in its pursuit of expanding NATO's eastward reach, failed to adequately address Russia's security concerns. Others point to Russia's annexation of Crimea as a clear violation of international law, setting a dangerous precedent for future aggression. Key figures like Joe Biden, Antony Blinken and William Burns played pivotal roles in shaping the West's response to the crisis. Their diplomatic efforts, while undoubtedly well-intentioned, ultimately failed to avert the outbreak of war. Looking back, it's easy to question whether different approaches could have yielded different outcomes. The world of international relations is a complex chessboard, where even the smallest move can have far-reaching consequences. As we grapple with the realities of the Ukraine conflict, it's worth pondering the potential ripple effects of alternative decisions. One hypothetical scenario involves Ukraine renouncing its pursuit of NATO membership, a move that could have potentially eased tensions with Russia. However, such a decision would have undoubtedly been met with resistance from within Ukraine, where many view NATO membership as a crucial security guarantee against Russian aggression. Another counterfactual to consider is the possibility of the West offering more concrete security guarantees to Ukraine, deterring Russia from launching its invasion. While these alternative scenarios are purely hypothetical, they underscore the complexities of the decisions faced by world leaders in times of crisis. Section 4, The Present Storm. Analyzing the current situation. The situation in Ukraine remains dire, with no end in sight to the violence and suffering. The human toll of this conflict is immeasurable, with countless lives lost and millions displaced from their homes. On the battlefield, the situation remains fluid, with both Ukrainian and Russian forces engaged in fierce fighting. The conflict has evolved into a war of attrition, with no clear victor emerging in the short term. The international community has responded to the crisis with a united front, imposing crippling sanctions on Russia and providing military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. However, these efforts have yet to bring about a ceasefire or a negotiated settlement. The spectre of nuclear escalation continues to loom large, casting a long shadow over the conflict and raising fears of a wider global confrontation. Section 5. The trump card, a wild card in the peace process. The potential return of Donald Trump to the White House in 2024 adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. Trump's unorthodox approach to foreign policy and his seemingly amicable relationship with Vladimir Putin have fueled speculation about his potential role in the Ukraine conflict. Trump has repeatedly claimed that he could have prevented the war in Ukraine and that he could broker a peace deal within 24 hours. These claims, while dubious to many, have resonated with some who view Trump as a skilled negotiator. However, Trump's past actions, such as his praise for Putin and his decision to withhold military aid to Ukraine, raise serious doubts about his commitment to defending Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The potential for a Trump presidency to either escalate or de-escalate the conflict remains a topic of intense debate. Section 6, Charting the Future, Scenarios and the Importance of Diplomacy. The future of Ukraine hangs in the balance, with multiple potential scenarios unfolding in the months and years ahead. One possibility is a protracted war of attrition, with neither side able to achieve a decisive victory. Another scenario involves a negotiated settlement, however difficult to achieve, that would involve territorial concessions and security guarantees for both sides. A third, and perhaps most unsettling possibility, is the escalation of the conflict into a wider European war, potentially even drawing in NATO. The path towards peace in Ukraine will be long and arduous, requiring a concerted effort from all parties involved. Diplomacy, however challenging and fraught with setbacks, remains the only viable solution to ending the bloodshed and preventing further suffering. The international community must remain united in its support for Ukraine, while simultaneously engaging in dialogue with all parties to find a peaceful and lasting resolution to this devastating conflict.